What's going on? Happy Tuesday to all of you out there. Welcome on into Zero Hour. Your host, Extra Zero, bring you all the Transformers news I find interesting in the past week or so, as well as some discussions. But most of all, I just like hanging out with you fine people, because I wouldn't be able to do this show without all of you who tune in each and every week. So big thank you to the audience out there. And yeah, we got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight, including everybody's favorite uncomfortable talking point these days, which is the whole trade war situation. But again, as I say, I don't like to black pill people. I like to look for the silver linings and things. I think we do have some silver linings out there, as bleak as some people are making the situation out to be. You know, I know I said a couple weeks back that I thought things were going to improve, and it looks like they are a little bit, but it does also look like we are dealing with we're really dealing with companies kind of taking advantage of people, and I'll get into that, and I'll elaborate quite a bit. And yeah, if you're watching me here live on YouTube, again, thank you very much. Because again, I wouldn't be able to do it without you all. If you're watching me live, pop in that live chat over there. So we've already got a couple folks hanging out with us, and I will highlight your comments throughout the course of the show, because I want to know what you're thinking and feeling about all these different topics that are out there. And I just love interacting with you all throughout the course of the show. And if you like what I'm doing here, smash that like button, because it helps me out in the algorithm. And also, if you're not already, hopefully tonight is the night I can earn your subscription. So if you like what we're doing over here and you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell, because I still don't have an upload schedule, though I'm trying to get more and more consistent with putting out extra content. I had a really fun one this past week. Might have something up this weekend. I'm going to hit up Lance and see if he is free on Saturday, because we've got either a tier list or a discussion we've been wanting to do. So if you haven't seen it already, we got the Omega Prime unboxing, courtesy of G Tony. I cannot thank G enough. That was such a generous gift. Now, if you did watch it, spoilers if you didn't, but if you did watch it, mine unfortunately had the cracked abdomen. Now, we are getting it taken care of. G got in touch with Hasbro, and they are eventually going to send a return label, so I'll be able to send this guy back. He's just been chilling in this combined mode. I mean, he's solid in the combined mode, but yeah, mine unfortunately has the dreaded cracked abdomen, so don't want that getting any worse than it already is. And again, like I've said my piece on how Hasbro handles things. I don't know why, he has to contact them to get it started. I know he's the purchaser. It's just kind of annoying, but because again, like, people are going to be buying these from places like BBTS and eBay and the Chosen Prime, or if, like me, you got one as a gift. It's a hassle and a headache. So I'm waiting on them to send that to him, and then we're going to coordinate getting it back, and they should be able to ship it to me directly. So I won't have we won't have to have him like go out of his way to ship, because he shipped it to me from where he lives, and I'm like, dude, you really didn't have to do that. So he went above and beyond for me, and I'm very, very grateful for that. And if we do want to talk good customer service, I got to shout out Toy Dojo, because I got my Ventus in over the weekend, and mine had a cracked chest. But Toy Dojo is awesome. They're amazing. Eddie, I reached out to Eddie, and he's sending me a whole new body. He's just like, just swap the head. I checked this body out. It's good. Send me the body back, and we're Gucci. So he's going to take care of that for me. I appreciate it. I really, if you're going to buy from a domestic site, I'm going to recommend 3: BBTS, Agabus, and Toy Dojo. Toy Dojo is amazing. Eddie and Paik and that whole team, they will really take care of you regardless of who you are. Like, I'm just a small-time YouTuber. I'm friends with a lot of bigger YouTubers, but I'm just a small-time guy. And they always take care of me. And it's always nice to see them at TFCon. Great group of guys over there. Hanny's amazing over in Agabus. BBTS has gotten better over the years. There's also Alpha Toyland. They're a newer site that Larkin recommended, and they're pretty good. But really, Toy Dojo goes above and beyond every single time, and I cannot thank them enough. That's why if I'm going to buy domestic, it's always through Dojo first. So anyway, that's my little soapbox. So before we get into saying hi to the chat and then getting into all of our discussions and news, we're going to do one of my favorite weekly segments, which is our figure of the week. And that's right. This week, we're back to Optimus, but a very unique Optimus. This doesn't look like Optimus, but this is actually not the one from 2007, though it is the same mold. This came out, I believe, in 2014. This was an Amazon exclusive 2-pack, if I remember correctly. And this is the Protoform Optimus Prime with extra deco. So my camera would focus, you can see all that lovely Cybertronian writing on his chest plate. Wow, that camera really doesn't want to focus. But yeah, we've got our Protoform Optimus, and this is supposed to be the entry mode or Protoform, you know, when Optimus came to Earth in the 2007 movie. And this was actually one of the preview figures originally for the 2007 movie. I remember seeing these. I think they may have been, I don't know if they were Walmart exclusives, but I primarily remember seeing these in Walmart. And basically, they're really simple transformations, even for their time, even when things were more complex. But these were preview figures just of Starscream and Optimus. And their alt modes were kind of... This was also the first time we ever got official protoforms, but their alt modes were very basic. And they basically were the comets that they kind of came in as in the original movie. And again, really simple transformation. I'm kind of doing it off camera here. And it's again, a very basic one. Almost have to use your imagination. I'm not going to bother wedging the gun in. But there you go. He turns into his... Oh, I didn't get it right. His comet mode or entry mode. That's also kind of similar to his truck cab. You've got the two windows. You have like what appears to be wheels, even though it's his upper thighs. Not a very primey deco, but I like this one from the 2-pack. I think it also came with the deluxe version of Optimus from Dark of the Moon with better paint. I still have him stashed away somewhere, but I bought that set on clearance on Amazon for this, and I still love all this deco, the Cybertronian writing. I like the fact that he is not made out of the plain gray plastic. He's more of a darker gray. He's got a lot of paint apps, and yeah, I really enjoy this figure. And also too, you can take the gun and the blast effect here. It's not a firing missile. I think back in the day when everything had firing missiles still, there were people that were bummed out because this didn't fire. It was just an effects piece. But it does, and I'll show you here, it does plug into the tail. Like so. You can take the gun off. And it would wrap around the feet, and you could create kind of like a trail, kind of like a comet effect. So it's like a dual-purpose effects piece. You know, before we had all of the common blast effects pieces that we get today, that everybody pretty much unanimously loves. But yeah, this is how he briefly appeared in the 07 movie. I don't recall him ever having a gun. I just kind of remember him like kind of running around. But very unique Optimus, and definitely one that's probably the most unique mainline Optimus that I have in my collection. So that is my figure of the week. So let's say hi to chat, and then we'll get into some discussion stuff here. Because again, I know you all are dying to talk the Trade Wars stuff, and hopefully we're going to navigate it in a pretty positive way here. So first up, we've got Mario Roca hanging out. Saying hello, extra. Good to see you, Mario. Hope you're having a great evening. We've got Mega T-Rex Raw saying the hour is 0. Good to see you, my friend. Mario coming back and saying, when we thought Hasbro was posting the update for Pulse when they'd be increasing pre-orders on May 9th. And then we have the pre-orders. Yeah, the pre-orders, they did pause. And we're going to be talking about that because I think that whole situation's pretty ridiculous. We got a Helios 56 coming in saying, yo, And we've got Winston chiming in saying, "What's up, extra? Good to see you, Winston, man. I hope you are doing well." Actually, too, over the weekend I did have some fun. I caught up with Partsformer and T-Man. We all went out for lunch. It was a good time getting together with them. I wish I had taken some pictures. I know T took a couple, but yeah, we got together for lunch, and Matt also got engaged. So we had a little bit of a little small scale celebration lunch. It was good to get together with those guys. So let's pull up the trade war stuff first. We'll do that, and then we'll get into the news stuff, because we do have a fair bit of news stuff, but not as much as this stuff here. So I predicted a few weeks ago that we would probably see some sort of negotiation reached, and it happened a little bit later than I thought, but a lot of commentators out there thought it was going to take even longer. So it was kind of like a week and a half off for me. It happened over Saturday. So the long and short of this is that the U.S. and China have agreed to slash tariffs for 90 days. China is moving to, the U.S. tariffs on China are falling to 30%, and the China tariffs on the U.S. are falling to 10%. Now that U.S. tariffs on China were originally 145%, and China tariffs in the U.S. were 125%. So it was pretty hairy, as everybody knows. After that news broke, we had a big surge in stocks, and it seems like tensions have eased a bit. So this comes from Reuters. We're not going to get into the article here. The BBC has a pretty good point-by-point dissection of the whole situation, and basically, they basically say what was there for the on the the Reuters bullet points, but essentially the 90-day pause takes tariffs closer to what they were before. Prior to this, I believe it was a 20% tariff on Chinese goods coming into the U.S. Now we're at a 30%. A big part of that is negotiations because of the fentanyl crisis. And, again, I think we could see things go back to the way they were prior. I think that they probably will. I think that will be reached in the next 90 days, if not sooner. It's interesting because a lot of U.S. outlets, again, this is not a political show. We are not going to get into any politics. I don't care whether you lean left, whether you lean right. It's like T'Challa. We don't do that here. I welcome everybody in. We're not getting into what party you're in, who you agree with, whatever. But I do see in the media there is a big bias, and there were people that were seemingly rooting for China, and I'm like, we live in the U.S. We should want everything. We should want things to be good for us. I mean, we should want them to be good for the globe, but we should want things to be good at home. And regardless, I think a lot of people are giving Beijing credit, but I do know people in China, and I do know vendors in China, and people in China were equally as scared as a lot of people in the U.S. The U.S. is the largest consumer of Chinese goods, and there are a lot of people in China fearing shutdown. They're a lot of shipping containers were coming up empty. This just was not a good situation for either the U.S. or China. They had to work a deal out, and I think that if you listen to the Treasury Secretary, he's talking about that, neither nation wants a decoupling. And I think the Chinese, especially their commerce ministry, is kind of saying the same thing. And, they want to fix things. And again, I think that after they make some sort of statement on the fentanyl crisis or have some talks there, we'll probably see a larger delay in these tariffs. As a result, as Reuters mentioned, you saw stock surge. Now, I've pulled up Hasbro's stock prices here. And, here they are. I think they kind of peaked in February at nearly $70 a share. And then as we started getting into tariffs and uncertainty, you started seeing a drop. The lowest they hit was $50.71 on April 8th. Let me see, when was Liberation Day? Liberation Day was when Trump announced the tariffs. And I think, that was April 2nd. So if you see April 2nd, you kind of see a drop off after that. And they kind of, I don't want to say they stabilized, but when you get into the end of April, And when there were talks of trade negotiations, that's when you see a little bit of a rebound. And then you see here on May 12th, yesterday, their stocks rallied back. After the news broke over the weekend and the market opened back up, their stocks are back to $65 a share, which is, about where they peaked here in February. I mean, if we go back to a year, that was a high. They had a high here, October 2024. I think if we look at their highest, 100 in 2022. I guess basically it's been a little bit of a roller coaster, but I don't really think things have been too terribly bad for their stocks. Even in 2017, they never broke 100. It was 2022. I have to go back and see what it was in 2022 that caused them to surge to where they did. But it really seems like Hasbro's fine in this situation, and the market's responding. I think there's been an overreaction. Now, as Mario brought up, Hasbro has suspended pre-orders on their Pulse website, which I really don't understand. The Pulse is a direct sales resource, and it seems a little preemptive and a little foolish to suspend your pre-orders. I mean, pre-orders exist to gauge your customer's interest in a product. It kind of gives you a signal of how many you should make, how many you should have at the ready, how much interest is there. And as someone that's been a customer of Hasbro Pulse day one, I don't think that they've ever handled things very well on Pulse. I mean, a lot of times Pulse will have a small allocation of pre-orders, and then when they're sold out, they're sold out. And, eventually, sometimes people will cancel, but they've never done a really good job of gauging customer interest. And it's insane because Hasbro is a $1 billion company. They are the biggest toy company in North America. I mean, hands down, if not, they're the biggest toy company in the world at this point. I mean, next to Lego, that is. And I've also heard that there are some pre-orders being canceled through Target, but I haven't seen anything definitive on this. But, with G.I. Joe, it really seems like Pulse is the only place you can get G.I. Joe products. It doesn't seem like, the G.I. Joe stuff, the plasma collection had done very well. And it seemed to be kind of a very niche line. So it seems kind of foolish to have a big license like G.I. Joe do a very poor job of marketing it, and then the only outlet that fans have to buy it gets shut down. I've been very critical of Hasbro's marketing and distribution teams for quite some time, and now I'm super critical of the CEO, Chris Cox. We got announcements too that Hasbro is going to be raising, and here we are in Pulse. Like, you can still pre-order 6 items on Hasbro Pulse, and I think the only reason why you can do this is, if you see in the upper right, they are all exclusive items. They've all kind of gone into production, and you have the Hearts of Steel set, some of the vintage collection stuff, and a couple G.I. Joe items like the Snake and the Cobra Claw. I don't know why they've gone this route. It doesn't make much sense to me to just completely discontinue your pre-orders, because this is their best way as they are raising prices. Again, here, Sabertron put out an article stating that they're raising prices around 10%. So really, it seems like your deluxes are going up $1, Voyagers are going up $2, Leaders for whatever reason are going up $4, Commanders are going up close to 10. The Titan class Star Optimus Prime, which was a specialty price to begin with, is going up about 13, and Trypticon's going up 18. So it doesn't really make much sense why they're increasing these, especially when, again, to my knowledge, Vietnam Vietnam was like one of the first countries to come to the negotiating table for the trade deals, and it didn't really seem like much, if anything, was trading there. Or not trading, changing there. So I say all that to say this. I think what we're seeing now is a lot of people being reactionary and very opportunistic about this whole situation. It's frustrating, and it's not great for the customer. You know, back when we had the Great Recession, if you guys remember that, companies were actually finding ways to lower their prices because they knew that with the increased cost of living and the increased cost of doing business, they needed to maintain that business. And now it kind of just seems like the opposite, where, oh, well, costs are going up, and even though inflation has risen, you know, the amount of inflation we've had has outpaced wage growth, oh, let's just raise the prices up. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that they're doing this because, you know, the toy business is already, I don't want to say it's on thin ice, but it's struggling. It's not what it once was. And, you know, kids are unfortunately losing interest in toys. And I think that there's a lot of, I'd like to do a discussion video about why I think they're losing interest in toys. And I don't think it's just because of the iPad generation. I think it's just because I think there's several factors. I don't think the entertainment's there. I don't think the quality of toys is what it used to be. I don't think the features are there. And I don't think that parents see the value in a lot of modern day toys. But I think we'll save that for another discussion or its own video. But, you know, you really, when you're the biggest toy company in the world and you got there through consolidation, it's baffling that they haven't really had too much of a plan, right? They haven't had a plan. They didn't really have a plan through COVID. And you would think that after the pandemic, they would have found like, hey, you know, let's if we come into a completely unforeseen situation economically, you know, we have to have a plan. And it doesn't seem like they do. And that's unfortunate. Now, I've said numerous times on the channel, I want, you know, Transformers to be around for a good long time. As an uncle and, you know, hopefully a parent soon, I want the next generation to enjoy Transformers. I want my nephew to enjoy Transformers. I want my future child or children to enjoy Transformers. And I hope that they're around for a good long time. And I don't think with the current leadership, I don't want to be a doomer, but I don't know how Hasbro plans to maintain toy lines doing business. And I don't think Chris Cox is prioritizing toy lines, unfortunately. And I feel like we're at this kind of inflection point where it's crazy because, like, you know, I've shouted out Evan and Mark, and I think that they're fantastic designers, and the team in Japan is doing a great job. But I feel like people, you know, you're kicking these prices up, and you're going to price out a lot of your base, and it's unfortunate. I think we're on the cusp of it. And I think there's things that they can prevent. I mean, I love these figures, but when you have something like a Blokees, right? When this is $4 or $5 and it's good quality, yes, you do have to put this together yourself. But I mean, they have all the detail, they have all the articulation. This does not feel anything like dollar store plastic. The size is there. The fun is there. And these are selling out. These are selling like hotcakes. Every time I see the blind boxes in Walmart, I'll see the blind box. The next time I go, it's gone. Last time I went to Walmart, they had 2 cartons and then they're gone. Like, these are awesome and they're made very well and they're good value. And I feel like, again, like just holding up a deluxe from yesteryear, you know, solid. I mean, you can see here the forearms are screwed together. There's only one mushroom peg on here. You know, everything. There's no waffles really. I mean, yes, you can find examples of waffles on older figures, but they had gimmicks. They were substantial. And it just seems like they've raised prices over and over and over, and they've taken away plastic, they've taken away paint, they've taken away features. You know, now what is a leader class used to be a Voyager. And I mean, again, like, you know, I like this as a Voyager, but years ago, this would have been a deluxe, and it would have had like a spring-loaded feature. They probably would have had a spring-loaded feature where the, you know, the cannons would pop up and out. You know, there was a lot more engineering. The articulation wasn't as good, but the figures were solid. They had a lot more parts. They weren't put together like Legos. All this friction fit stuff. I'm glad that they're returning to pinned on wheels, but they've just taken and taken and taken and taken. And it's like, where do you draw the line with this company? Like, how do they continue to justify their, like, when you increase a price, the whole idea is, well, I'm increasing the price so I can deliver the same quality of product. And that hasn't happened. And then you get official third-party stuff like this, like YOLO Park, like 3-0. And, you know, I'm sure there will be others. And I'm really excited to see what Best Action's going to do with the mask line, because I'm kind of at this point where I think somebody could take the license and do it better and do it cheaper and give us a product that's quality and something like what, you know, the fans deserve, you know? And again, like, I'm super grateful that, you know, G's like, hey, you're a Prime guy, you need this. And I'm really glad to have it. But the fact that you have a multi-billion-dollar company doing crowdfunding when they don't need to, and that could have been 2 commander classes, you know, it's getting a bit ridiculous. And I think that they have a very predatory way of doing business. And I understand it's a business and not a charity, but somebody like Chris Cox, I don't think sees the danger of what they're doing and how they're running the company. But to get back to re-rail ourselves here, retro blasting. Some people love them, some people hate them, some people are in between. I've been a long-time subscriber. Sometimes I really agree with Michael, sometimes I don't. Well, Michael did a really good video on all of this. Again, I can't play any of the video because it's his video and I don't want to be a restreamer here. I highly recommend. It's a 16, nearly 17-minute video where he makes a lot of these talking points. And I think he, you know, again, I don't always agree with Michael, but I think in this video, he is very spot on. And, you know, he talks about the predatory practices of Hasbro, and maybe it's time that we vote with our wallets here. And I certainly agree with him. Like, I think I'm really just going to focus on completing the 13 primes, but I'm not, it's not going to be a catch 'em all. I mean, I need to scale back anyway, but you know, I think I'm really just going to get the 13 primes and just kind of call it, because they're kind of pricing me out. And it's one of those things where I think that it's going to be an interesting situation to see how all this unfolds. And I think if enough people vote with their wallet, I think ultimately you're going to see the prices kind of roll back a bit. I mean, maybe they will, but it's just that gamble, right? Because either they course correct or they just cheapen things even more. And again, as I mentioned, I want them to be around for a while, but you know, it's hard, because it's like you want them around, but you want the best version of them around. I want them to go back to like where they were in the Armada years, where they were in Cybertron, giving us big substantial things that really crossed that line between what a collector wants and what's fun for the next generation, you know. And I think that they've really shat the bed on the kids lines, and they've just been nothing but predatory to the collectors. Yes, Vincent, like, yeah, as I was saying, I don't always agree with Michael on everything. Sometimes I highly disagree with him. Sometimes I think he's a bit hyperbolic and bombastic, but I think in this video, I think that he was absolutely spot on in what he had to say. I think it was probably one of the better videos that he's done. We've got Mattel coming in, and this is also from Sabertron. You know, this one's kind of a no-brainer. Their CEO stating that they don't think toy manufacturing would come to the U.S. even if tariffs were in place. I mean, obviously these companies are addicted to cheap labor, and you know, we have regulations in this country, and you know, thankful we do. You know, a lot of people complain about wages, but I mean, the unfortunate aspect is where these toys are made, the people are not paid much at all. So I didn't see manufacturing returning to the U.S. in any way, shape, or form when it comes to toys. So that one's kind of a nothing. I think if anything, we will probably see a rise of 3D printing. I think if you start seeing companies like Hasbro start to fall and falter as 3D printing becomes better and cheaper, and you have sites like, I know PCBWay now does 3D printing. I know that there are several sites that do 3D printing. We're starting to see, more durable plastics. And I think that might be, I don't want to say it's going to be the future of toys, but I think you are going to see more on-demand things like that. And I think depending on what happens, I think with the current tariff situation, you're going to see third-party be fine. And I'll get into that in a little bit because we'll take a trip over to TF Safari and show some examples here. But yeah, I did not see toy manufacturing returning to the U.S. I think after the deal with Nixon, they realized what they've got shipping everything out east, all the manufacturing. Again, we've seen more. And again, the CEO of Mattel, I think they are, one of the points in here is that they're trying to get tariffs removed from goods, luxury goods like toys. I don't know if that will happen, but the Toy Maker Association is currently lobbying for it. We will see. I think that they might have a case because it's a fragile industry. It's a shrinking industry, and again, they did make exceptions for electronics pretty quickly. So we'll see where that goes. But Super 7, funny enough, today put out and this is from Toy News International, put out a presser about how they are holding some layoffs and they are blaming tariffs. I think this one's a scapegoat. And I think it's a scapegoat because, again, Super 7 was a niche brand. Best Action, I think, has been eating their lunch. NECA has been eating their lunch. Both Best Action and NECA have been doing very well, all things considered. And Super 7's quality has been a problem. And they scarfed up so many licenses that they made very poor decisions with. I think they're just doing this out of convenience. And unfortunately, because some people just kind of believe everything they read, I think that's why it's being bought. I think it's unfortunate that anybody got laid off, but I certainly don't think that they're giving you the actual truth as far as why the layoffs are happening. And as I mentioned, being wary of like people being opportunists here. This is from 2019. And this is when I bought Fans Toys Jabber. And when we get into third party, we're going to see the Jabbers being reissued. And, here, the Chosen Prime, as well as other sites, Toy Dojo, Agabus. Agabus actually has a lower price. They're $11 cheaper. But the going rate, the MSRP Fans Toys is putting out is $200. And this is just kind of ridiculous because this pre-order just went up. And if you adjust for inflation, that $90 should be $112 today. So, again, I think even in the third-party scene, we're going to see people being opportunists. A good example of this, I buy a lot from TF Safari, and I like the fact that they're very transparent in their pricing. And they are a direct from China retailer. And let's pull up a good example here. And this is a figure I got to mess with when I was hanging out with Matt and T. This is the Bingo Toys Jezzy. And you can see here, $86.99. Well, if we go over to everybody's favorite punching bag, TF Source, not to be confused with TF Safari, you can see how reactionary some of the domestic sites have been. Again, no, honey, I don't want to. And I say honey as in the coupon thing. I know that's kind of a scam for some people. It does actually work. $154.99. So we have $86.99 versus almost double. And unfortunately, I have seen people defending this. But if you go in, if I were to add this to my cart, one of the things that they will say when you proceed to check out is that their taxes and tariffs are paid for. Let's go to proceed to checkout. Hopefully none of my info's in here. Don't fill it in PayPal. I'm not getting it, but when I got Lord Ventagon, their site actually said taxes and tariffs are included. So again, I say all that to say this. There are people and businesses that are unfortunately going to take advantage of this situation. This is a rough situation for both collectors and companies, because again, like this is an escape. It's a hobby. But unfortunately, you're going to see some companies that are taking this as an excuse to price gouge. And I think Fans Toys sets their own prices. There's an excellent video with a guy that I used to know, Hung to Go. It's over on Bobby Skullface's channel. And Hung used to run a secret Fans Toys group. And he explained the margins on Fans Toys. And again, I know it's a business, not a charity. But he explained the margins and just how much it costs to make and how much he got as being an independent retailer. And it knocked my socks off a bit. And, I know TF Safari, they're a business, not a charity. And with what they're able to sell at the margins and stay in business, really makes you think, right? I'd like to buy from domestic sites. I gave Toy Dojo a huge shout out, and Dojo is not gouging their prices from what I can see. They're a little bit more expensive because, I understand that there's insurance, there's overhead, they have employees, they have a brick and mortar retail store. But I buy from Toy Dojo because I know that if I have an issue with it, I'm going to get taken care of very quickly. Like I said, Eddie's already shipping me a new body for my Ventus that came broken. I'm getting fast service. I should have that figure fixed within a week. If I bought it from overseas, it would take months. And that's the trade-off you get. TF Safari will take care of you. But I understand the overhead that goes into domestic sites. So I'm willing to pay a little bit more in some cases for that better customer service. But like what TF Source is doing here, what the Chosen Prime has been doing, I know a lot of people are fans of the Chosen Prime, but come on, this is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Don't fall for it. Don't buy it. There are a lot of people that are afraid to buy direct overseas sites from ShowZ or TF Safari. I'd like to spend my money domestically, but this is predatory. Don't fall for it. Because if you do fall for it, they're going to keep getting away with it. Like, this is a site that's selling the Optimus Machina Rodimus for $300. That was a $166 figure. So don't fall for this predatory stuff. Vote with your wallet. And yeah, it's a rough situation to navigate. And it's not fun. It's not fun talking about it. I guess it's fun for people that are political channels to talk about it because it gives them content. I don't like talking about it. I like having fun with this hobby. It's an escape for me. It's something I enjoy. I just love looking at these bots and going back to, my childhood and just enjoying the characters and just being like, wow, I have my own personal museum of just, my favorite form of entertainment. But, there are people that are, again, predatory. And I understand it's a business, not a charity. I'm somebody that considers himself to be pro-capitalist as well. Whether you are or aren't, I am. And I want to see people be successful, but I also want things to continue because if you have predatory practices, you're going to lose customers. People are going to drop out of the hobby, and it's just going to be a lose-lose situation for the business and the customers. And I guess I'm going to wrap my rant up there, but I want to know, what do you guys think? Do you agree, disagree? Do you have any thoughts on it? Was I off base on anything? What are you guys thinking? Let's catch up with chat, and then we'll get into the normal news. We got my boy Kenzo coming in saying, Sig Xeon. Yeah, he is a Xeon supremacist. Him and Lethal Lightning love the Xeons. So, And Winston, I am planning on getting the regular meetups. I think this summer it's time to bring them back. For those that don't know, I'm in the DMV area, the Virginia, Maryland, DC area. And prior to COVID, we used to do meetups. We would have people from TFW 2005 and the Facebook groups, the DMV Action Figure Society. We used to get a room and we'd have people bring all different sorts of action figures and have food and drinks. And I think it's about time we get those started up again. So I'm going to talk to Matt and T, and I think we need to kick those back off. Kevin as well. I think it's time. We've been having some beautiful weather here in Maryland, and they were just a good time to get everybody together. And it'd be cool to film everybody together for the channel. So I will talk to the guys and we'll get those arranged. And if anybody listening is in the DMV area, when I do plan one of those, you are more than welcome to come out, say hi, bring some figures you want to share, or just check out some cool figures and hang out with some cool people. It's always a good time. So, and Mario, I'm right there with you. Mario saying sometimes I really wish to not think or talk about the political and economic aspects. It sucks. You know, it's like I don't want to talk about it, but it is a pressing issue, and it's the news this week. But like I said, I'm hopeful that they're going to get things sorted out. We are out of the ballpark of the 145 and 125% tariffs. So hopefully things go back to normal and the hobby can continue. But my overall message is don't fall for those that are doing predatory practices. Shop smart. And if you don't have the option, you got to vote with your wallet so they know that you as a customer, you're not standing for it. We got Paul joining us saying, hello, everybody. Good to see you, Paul. Aqua Techie saying, salute to Extra Zero in the chat. Good to see you, Aqua. And let's see. Aqua Techie saying, Hasbro better not cancel anything. I've already got. They shouldn't. I think everything that was before the 9th, they've guaranteed should be good. Mario is saying, don't even purchase anything for Impulse because of the shipping costs. Yeah, they really want people Impulse Premium. And again, it's all silly. Like, I like BBTS. That $4 flat rate shipping is a godsend. And also, for the most part, like you don't have to commit to most pre-orders. They do now have, like, they did have a lot of people canceling pre-orders. They do have deposits on some things, but at least if you cancel, they'll give you a store credit. But that $4 flat rate shipping, man, it's good. Mega T-Rex are all saying, after most of 13 Primes and Sideways, Excellion on a Mario Seeker's probably done with the Hasbro mainline. I can't really blame you there. Yeah, I am at least looking forward to those 13 Primes. They really have to course correct and wow me with what they've got moving forward, because I think they're just doing Combiner Wars 2.0, and I'd rather have MP scaled combiners, and pretty much got most of what I want there. Aquateki saying prices going up and QA going down is not a winning combination. I agree. We got Princeton hanging out and saying hello. We got Vincent coming in saying should have been talking about retro blasting. And Mario, I cannot believe what I've been seeing with the hobby too. And Princeton saying, wonder if the new China trade deal will affect. I do think that it should affect the pricing, but we need competition. I think one of the other problems too is Hasbro has consolidated so many brands. It's hard to get that competition. I want to see Best Action, and I know that they've licensed the Best Action, but I want to see Best Action find some success with their collector's lines. I want to see NECA find some success. I want to see Jazzwares and Jakks Pacific find some success and grow. I mean, Mattel's got a good opportunity. I mean, Lego's raising their prices, but Lego's the one company out there that's raised their prices but has never dropped their quality. And the one time they did drop their quality, they completely course corrected and made that. It was with the plastic that they did when they started using recycled plastic, but they maintain plastic density in their bricks, and that's one of the reasons why Lego has gone up in price. And like I said, I will have to film it. If you want to see, go on T-Man 97H channel. He's filmed a few of them before. He's done like the T-Man toy hunts, and he's filmed several of the meetups. It's always a good time. Again, it's just people hanging out, talking toys, talking life, having drinks, having food. It's a cool thing. It's almost like a mini convention. Mega T-Rex saying he gets most of his figures from Shozy. Shozy's a good choice. And Winston saying, don't forget to smash that like button. I would appreciate it if you did. It's Sandra coming in saying, I tariff thee. What percentage, though? What percentage? Hopefully, the only tariff is I just humbly request you smash that like button. That'd be appreciated. So we got a little bit of news. It's been kind of a lighter week, but let's get into it. Let's lighten it up a bit. First up, this came from Super Robot Ed. He does some good commentary on YouTube. I've been enjoying a lot of his commentary, but he got an email from Hasbro Pulse because I don't think that he had received his Omega Prime. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are wondering, like, when's mine coming? And the response back that he got is that their goal is to have all units shipped out by May 18th, 2025. So if you haven't gotten yours yet, or you haven't even gotten an email, confirming asking to confirm your address and your shipping details, they should be shipping them out within the week. So hopefully we know by next week what's going on with those. No indication whether or not these are fixed units. They had said that, the ones that are going back, they hope to start shipping out in early or late June, early July. So there's no indication whether or not these units that are going out to people later are going to have fixed or better tolerance to abdomen sections. So it'll be interesting to see. Then we get some interesting news. Hobby Dengeki has reported that there's going to be a new Transformers Evangelion collaboration. And this should be presented tomorrow, actually. Basically, there is the Shizuoka Hobby Show or Hobby Event, May 14th to the 18th. I'm wondering if this is just going to be a, another Evangelion colored Prime. If you remember, we got an MP10 themed, or I'm sorry, an Eva 01 themed MP10 years ago. I'm wondering if we're going to get maybe a smaller one with maybe the Commander class, which I think would be better because more people would be able to afford it, or they're just going to go balls out and, hey, we're doing MP44 in that deco, since people love that deco. Maza, I may be old, but at least I can grow a beard. What's up, dude? Good to see you. And I will shout out over on the Gronking channel. And again, you can check them out. Link in my description, in my link tree. We are going to be doing a gaming collectibles segment soon. So I will promote that on the community tab so y'all can check it out, because we'll be doing kind of a show and tell thing. Next up, Takara Tomy is also, this isn't really news because, again, the main line goes in Japan, but the Hearts of Steel sets, they are going to be offered through Takara Tomy. So if for whatever reason things fall through on Hasbro Pulse, you can always head over to Amazon Japan and get them. They're actually being sold under the T-Spark line of all things. So I've got mine pre-ordered through Pulse. I've got the Bumblebee and Megatron set, as well as the Prime and Starscream sets. Hopefully, again, those don't fall through. It's interesting, too, that the Bumblebee Megatron set wasn't on that pre-order page. Maybe they've sold out of their allocations of that. But, yeah, if you're interested in getting those, they will be offered through other channels. You can import them if you miss out on Hasbro Pulse. Then we get into some Blokees news, and Blokees has been doing pretty good with what they've got. They've got their Galaxy version, which are the $4 or $5 figures, and they're showing off some new ones. We've got a Shattered Glass Prime, as well as the vehicle mode. We've got a clear Shockwave coming, Golden Lagoon Megatron, Soundwave, and Ravage. We've got Skywarp coming. And Grimlock. I really like that Grimlock. And then, I've already got that one up. They're doing more for Transformers 1. So I think we covered the listings for these a week back, but you get the cogged version of Orion Pax, which, funny enough, comes with the mining tool that should come with the cogless one. So you can just give that accessory to him and then give the gun to Prime. A really good-looking Alita 1. Which is the cogless version. You get a new version of Bumblebee, which is the cogged version. And it looks like he also has the Battle Mask and Knife Hand, a Soundwave, a Starscream, a Shockwave, Alpha Trion, and a fully armored up Megatron. And I like this because they fixed the way that the cannon clips onto his arm, so you don't have to have him like doing the gorilla arm thing. And yeah, looking pretty good. As well as a proper cogless version of D16. And a silver version of the tracker. So, yeah, I'm hoping that these show up in Walmart because these are really fun blind box things. Not to be outdone, Blokees also has a, I believe these are the Action Edition, so it's the larger scale figures. Like I happen to have the Optimus Prime here, and this is like really one of my figures of the year, and it's a model kit of all things. Motion has this kit already, and he did a full video on it, and it actually comes with a ton of stuff. So this is just kind of showing off the lights and some of the, you can take off some of the armor and you can fit a tape in there. What they don't show you or tell you here is that this comes with an awful lot. You get Ratbat, you get Laserbeak, you get Ravage, you get Rumble. This thing talks. Now, of course, again, it's not a transforming Laserbeak. You just get a tape. I kind of wish one of them was Buzzsaw since it's just a tape. Also, I find it weird that they're using the Cybertronian version of Laserbeak, but it is what it is. I'm sure they'll also do a set with Sound Blaster because repaints, and you'll probably get Frenzy and Buzzsaw in that set. But you get an awful lot, and I think this is like coming in at $34.99. This is a big kit with electronics that talks. It's got articulation. It's big. You're essentially getting 5 model kits in one. So yeah, this thing should be out relatively soon, especially since, again, Motion has it, and yes, they are doing Frank Welker's voice in this thing. So I was going to limit it to just Prime and Megatron, but I may very well pick this up because I just had a lot of fun building these things. I don't want to go too hog wild with them, but the fact that this talks and it's so substantial and it's the price of the old price of a Voyager, hell yeah, sign me up. Next up, this comes from TM Reviews, and this isn't really Transformers. This is a Brave figure, but he posted that T-Spark is actually doing a Dragon Kaiser from Brave. So it appears the T-Spark line's doing a bit more than Transformers, and that's why this is pretty relevant. Brave was the series that came after the Japanese Transformers ran its course, but it has nothing to do with the continuity, though there are some shared designs and aesthetics. But this thing looks pretty interesting. Again, since it's not official Transformers, I'm probably going to skip it, but part of me wonders if they're just putting it under T-Spark to try and sell it to Transformers fans. But again, you can see very similar engineering to what they're doing in their other lines. And of course, it's Takar Tomy, so it should be. But I've got no attachment to this, but there are some fans out there that probably will be interested in this. No pricing yet either, but given the fact it's T-Spark, it's probably going to be expensive, at least outside of Amazon Japan. Before we get into this last bit of official news, T-Man says, yes, there is the video on his channel. He was posting the link to the meetup. He said, I didn't realize how long you've been. Yeah, it's been 7 years since I've been with my wife. And I think he's good for getting something else on the book. So I'll put something in the chat with us, and we'll get something planned. I think I probably have to mod you. I don't know if I can do that through Restream, but if I mod you, you should be able to post that link. So let's see if we can do that real quick. Let me log in to YouTube, pull up the proper YouTube chat, and I should be able to give you modulator powers here. There we go. There we go. And now T-Man has been modded. So there you go. Now you should be able to post the link in there. And Mario also saying, rather curious if we'll get a Studio Series 86 Soundwave and if it'll come with Laserbeak and Ravage as well as new molds. I think we will. I think they've mentioned they're going to do a new leader class. So lastly on our official news, there's a new mobile game. The trailer just went up today. It's called Transformers Eternal War. So the trailer looks neat. You get a little sizzle reel, but you don't get any actual gameplay. And the only thing we know about this is it's going to be an RPG adventure. And I don't know if that means turn-based or action RPG. It's going to have G1 characters. That's all we really know. There's currently a closed beta, and it's only in Australia and New Zealand, and you can only get it on Android. So iPhone users are out of luck. But it's supposed to open up to additional territories soon. And I'm assuming it'll probably be a free-to-play title. So we'll have more on that soon. But that's all we got for Transformers video game news at the moment. There was a Snake Eyes game announced today with former Bethesda, WB, Activision people working on it. It's like a stealth action game. We need some good Transformers game news. I don't think a mobile game is really what fans are looking for right now. So hopefully we get that soon. I did almost forget one thing. Forgot to check in on the Skybound Kickstarter, which wrapped up last Tuesday, and it was going live. Well, actually, I think it wrapped up Wednesday. I think we had 19 hours left when we did the show. $4.6 million with a $40,000 goal. So congrats to Skybound on a very successful Kickstarter. And actually, I got something from Skybound today. I'll share. Let me grab this real quick. I meant to have it sitting by my side, but I did not. I had it sitting on my printer. But yeah, Skybound, this was street dated for today. This is the Hardbound Volume 1 Compendium. Came out today. You can get it on Amazon. So I got mine. I'm looking forward to, it's going to be a coffee table if I'm going to get these hardcover compendiums. But yeah, if you're a fan of the comic, this is out as of today. So it's available on Amazon, or hit up your local comic shop, support them. And also we got a bit of news, just small news. We got TFCon Toronto around the corner. And again, no idea whether the current situation is going to impact any exclusives. I think with MMC, hopefully we get the next component for Ruination, but we'll at least have a guest. We get James Reyes, who was the comic artist on the Armada comic. So they're still announcing guests for TFCon. And hopefully as we get closer to July, they get some more folks announced there. Nobody else outside of Charlie Adler announced for Chicago. But again, that one's a little bit of a ways off. And let's wrap up the night with our third-party stuff. So we got a little bit to talk about with third-party. So interesting stuff here. Let me get this up. So first up, from Fans Hobby, this is a figure that I absolutely love. I got this back in, I think, 2019. They're doing, I don't have a picture of the, oh, no, it is there. So they're doing a reissue of Double Evil. This is the A version, which is the more tune-accurate deco. And it's just a straight-up reissue. There was an add-on kit for this guy. It doesn't appear that they are including anything from that add-on kit, which included a new chest piece and a larger gun. So this is just the standard. But they are also doing a B version in darker colors, which is more of a toy-accurate deco. It looks like you're getting, in this one, it looks like you get extra Power Masters. I don't recall if they came with the original. I know I've got extra Power Masters in mine because I bought the add-on kit. But for anybody looking for this, this is getting a reissue relatively soon. If you go over to their site, do they have a date? Just pre-order now. Okay, June. So June, and they haven't raised the price on this too much. I think when I bought it, it was $180 back in 2019, so it's up to $199. But this is a huge bot, and it's very substantial. So if you slept on this one, if you've been wanting it, I highly recommend it. You can get this directly from Fans Hobby. Jabber, as we mentioned earlier, getting a reissue. And yeah, I would, if you missed out on this one, I would wait. I can see the price coming down on this. As I showed earlier, I bought this in 2019 for $110 less. I would not pay this. I would not pay this at all. And if you absolutely need a Blur in your collection, Unique Toys is reissuing theirs, and it's fine. It's actually, I think, got a better alt mode than this. So I would, if you missed out on this, don't pay it. Do not pay this. Force Fans Toys hand to lower the price of this. I would not pay more than $110 or $115 for this. As we adjusted for inflation earlier, do not pay $200 for this figure. It's a good figure, but it is not worth $200. Don't pay it. Next up, TM Reviews shared this. If you happen to miss out on the DX9 Red Storm, and again, I'm glad to see DX9 back. They're doing their second edition run of Red Storm, which is their tune accurate sideswipe. I think this is only $70. And the second edition's up top. This is a more tune accurate deco, whereas this is the first edition was a more toy accurate deco. That really it's negligible. This one comes with white headlights, which is more tune accurate, and the fully red back. And I believe the red plastic is a little bit brighter, and the white is a little bit more dull. But I've heard nothing but good things about this. So if you missed out on the first one, and you are if you're particularly a more toy or tune accuracy person, then this one should be right up your alley. And there he is next to. I think that's MP44. You know, it might be Light of Peace. It's hard to tell. That is not MP44. Maybe it is. It's really hard to tell with that lighting. Princeton wanted to know, does Overlord come in a queen or king size bed to sleep on? No, he does not. He comes in on a styrofoam bed and 2 boxes. But yeah, these things are looking pretty good. I'm sure somebody in the circle is going to get one. I'm going to be like, oh, I kind of want it. But again, I'm happy with I have the MP Plus version. Pretty happy with it. I don't want to go replacing all my figures, my official ones, with third party. There's Magic Square. Thank you, T. I thought it was light. It's so hard to tell. The hip skirts, I think, were what were throwing me off. I was like, are those the ones that fold in? But yeah, that head definitely is not the MP44 head. Planet Steel Express offered an update on their Tyrantron, and this guy, which is a very heavy remold and retool of Optus Pexus, which is their IDW Megatron. This should be shipping out very soon. I believe they stated that this is going to start shipping on the 15th of this month of May, and retailers should be getting it by June. So that's pretty exciting. I've been looking forward to this one. I'm looking forward to getting him on my IDW shelf. And same thing basically stated on Weibo, that they're expecting it to arrive mid to late June to retailers. So hopefully by July or late June or early July, people are getting them. And then this comes from the 3D printing, Transformers 3D printing group. This is an add-on kit, little booster shoes here for your Mastermind Creations Defensor. And this gets him to about 19 inches tall. So he's going to stand about eye to eye with the X-Transbots Menasor. So I'm not sure what the pricing is going to be on this kit, but it also comes with a new waist cover, as you can see here, that gives him a more filled out waist. I think without the shoes, he's proportional, but yeah, this waist cover is definitely needed. So you're getting him new feet, and you're getting him a new waist piece. And if you are like a Zeta scale collector, he's not going to look so out of place, because this is the only complete Defensor you can get at this time, since X-Transbots is dragging their heels. Good to see you in here, Tris. Hope you're having a good one. And thank you, T. Would appreciate it if we can get this one up there. And if you're not already subscribed, we'd appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button and rang that notification bell. Now, this one's exciting. X-Transbots, as much as I'm going to say they can't finish their Defensor and they're all over the place with their Devastator, they at least have a prototype here for Slugslinger. And this is over on Weibo. I don't know why this video is not playing, but just like their Misfire that we've seen, They're showing off a little bit of the articulation. This thing's in the prototype phase, and I won't be shocked if we see a bunch of renders for this when TFCon Toronto rolls around, when they do their third-party panel. Since there's not too much to show, or actually, given X-Trans spots, it's probably going to be at BotCon. They will probably be having a very X-Trans spots heavy panel at BotCon. And funny enough, while they still, I haven't pulled the trigger on Paragon yet. I'm getting the X-Transbots Defensor as my combined Defensor, but they're already working on their G2 versions, and they've got their G2 Paragon already out there, so you can already get Streetwise and Groove and G2 colors. But for whatever reason, they're dragging their heels on Blades and on Hotspot. This looks very good, but again, I'm as much crap as I talked about TF Source. I'm waiting for this guy to inevitably show up on a deep discount on TF Source, not the G2 version, the G1 version, because this does look very good, especially in the ARM mode here. But yeah, if you are collecting the G2 Defensor components, you can get First Aid in his G2 deco already. So that's that for our third-party news. So again, I think that's going to wrap us up for this evening. Went a little bit over an hour. But again, I would appreciate it if you liked what we're doing here to smash that like button, because I really do appreciate any help getting promoted in the algorithm. I can actually search for my channel now, which is awesome and amazing. So thanks to everybody who tunes in every week and pops in the chat. And if you aren't watching me live, you're watching me here on the replay, let me know how you're feeling on the current trade war situation. Are you optimistic? Are you pessimistic? Are you somewhere in between? Are you just kind of sick of politics getting injected into our escapist hobby? Let me know. I want to know, is there anything that you're looking forward to? Did you back the Skybound Kickstarter? Did you pick up the Compendium hardcover? Anything on the official news? Are you a Blokees collector? Drop a comment. I do read them. I do interact with them, and I appreciate everybody who does leave a comment. I'm working on getting with Lance. I don't know whether we're going to have a discussion video for Saturday, or if we're going to do the next tier list, which should be the Beast Wars, the first 1996 run of Beast Wars. That won our poll. So whether we do the tier list or we just do a discussion about our wish list with Hasbro, I hope we have a discussion video up on Saturday. So make sure you have that bell rung so you can stay in the loop. I'll also post on the community tab when we're planning these. So again, thanks to everybody. I hope you guys had a great night. I hope you had a fun time watching, and I hope you have a great week ahead. And I will see you all next Tuesday, 9 o'clock Eastern, right here on the Extra Zero channel. Hope you all have a good one, and peace out. Zero out.